What is your favorite RPG streamer? Oh, goodness. I don't know. That's hard to. There's people that like I'd say are like my favorite streamers for things, but like they aren't really RPG streamers, but they have streamed ARPGs and they really like ARPGs, but like it's not their main thing they do. I don't know. You know, yeah. I don't know. I don't know good answers. Just because I know I'm the best, probably Aaron. Because we met when we were in Germany.
Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. Mike, one of the senior developers at 11th Hour Games, held his normal Friday Q&A live stream on Twitch, which means I get to bring you Dev Chat 160. As always, Mike answered lots of great questions from the community and gave us 2 Season 2 teasers. Now, before we get into this, I have been absent the last couple of days, the last 3 days, and that's because I have been in bed. This is going to be the first video I've ever recorded with bronchitis. I have been so sick, and I'm sure you could hear it in my voice. That being said, the antibiotics are starting to kick in. I woke up this morning, I was able to have a good breakfast, and I thought, why not record Dev Chat? So I'm hoping tomorrow, hopefully I will be back streaming. We will see, but yeah, it totally sucks. I got bronchitis. Anyways, we're going to jump into our first question, and this is around two-handed weapon and a shield.
Since two-handed weapons plus shield are coming to Sentinel, and I just a clarification on this. I did say some wrong information on this recently, where I said it was the staves counted. Staves don't count. There's specific two-handed weapons. So since two-handed weapons plus shield are coming to Sentinel, would you consider doing something similar for other classes, Falconer with spear and shield, for example? It's definitely possible. I don't think that. So I know it's not planned for season 2 launch 1.2. It's partially a thematics thing, like you know, like the Sentinel character is much larger. Its primary stat in a lot of cases is strength. You know, like being able to wield a two-handed weapon in one hand thematically doesn't make a huge amount of sense for a character that's primary stat is going to be dexterity. Like just like themes and sense makingness of it, it's kind of a low chance, but it's not impossible. I'd personally be more interested in like looking at one-handed spears as an entirely different weapon set. That's where I would be looking for it myself. But, you know, it's possible at some point down the road. There aren't plans for it at the moment.
Mike goes on to answer later in the stream too that he does confirm, and I've said this in the past, this is for Forge Guard only. So this is going to be a two-handed weapon and a shield in your hand, and it's going to be unlocked in the passive tree for only Forge Guard. So it's on the right side of the passive tree. Huge buff for Forge Guard fans. I really like it when EHG answers this question. As somebody that streams Last Epoch, it's always like, can this build do 1,000 corruption? Can it do 2,000 corruption? And I always have to tell people the game is designed around 300 corruption. Listen to this.
In 1.2, is 300 corruption still considered the standard pinnacle content? Yeah, I mean, there's I'd say 300 corruption is it's still the top point where unlocks happen. And I guess that's kind of the key thing, is that new stuff doesn't unlock past 300 corruption. And that's still the case in 1.2.
Balancing the game and meta.
Do you aim for all builds to be on a level playing field, or is there intention for builds being more meta than others? I think the intention is that there are builds that are more meta than others, but not specific builds, if that makes any sense. So we don't say like, oh, okay, we really want like Spellblade to be stronger than Runemaster this patch. You know, we really want Druid to be stronger than Beastmaster this patch, or we really want like specifically Forge Strike Sentinel to be really strong this patch or something like that. Like, we don't look at it like that at all. We go into it with the intention of keeping things as balanced as possible and as level playing field as possible, with the expectation and understanding that there are things that are going to be stronger than others. It's gonna happen every time. There's something's gonna rise to the top, something's gonna be the meta build, and so we are like expecting that and are comfortable with that. And I think the game's more interesting when that's the situation. So like it is actually intentional that we have things that are meta builds, but we don't want I think the key is that we want the gap between meta builds, like top tier meta builds, and like the throwaway junky builds that just don't work, we want that gap to be lower. And I think a lot of the balancing efforts are around lowering that gap more than anything. Like having space for people to find creative solutions to make builds into meta builds is like that's half the fun in my world. That's almost all the fun, really. In build crafting. So yeah.
I actually really like that answer. There is always going to be the best. I mean, nothing is going to be perfectly balanced. Even if it's not the best, there's going to be that streamer, that content creator, that website that puts out the build that everybody copies, so it just becomes meta, But I like their idea of, instead of just trying to nerf everything down, they're going to try and bring everything up so it is more balanced between builds. It's smart. Now let's talk Ancient Era.
Is there any specific plan for the Ancient Era? Oh yes, big old yes. At the moment, it kind of feels like a side route with without too much reason or point to visit it. I completely agree. We do plan on utilizing the Ancient Era as a full proper era to the same degree that the other eras are being. Well, maybe not as much as like Ruined Era. That one's probably will always be like the most. Maybe Divine. I don't know. It's gonna be a proper era. There's still a couple chapters left in the story that in that time in the rest of the storyline it'll feature prominently. There's endgame mechanics we still have planned that will focus more around Ancient Era content than anything else. There's stuff we have planned big time for Ancient Era content. It will be coming. Have no fear.
Have you heard about the crafting changes coming?
Would you say crafting is mostly done, or do you have plans to expand and change it drastically? Ooh, drastically? I'd say, okay, the core functionality for crafting, like this system where you've got items and you can up there. I'm covering half of this, sorry. You can like upgrade the tier. So I just put tier 1 to tier 2 vitality on this item. Awesome. And I like that core crafting experience. Those boots are actually great for me. Wow. That core crafting experience. Only level 20. Wow, how did I get these? That's got to be a Nemesis drop.
Chaos it and get movement speed. Sorry.
Gotta be Nemesis. Anyways, they're great boots. Anyways, that core crafting experience is something that we have no plans of changing drastically. We get a ton of if we got into a situation where we're getting a ton of feedback, or there was some other system that caused that triggered the need to maybe change it. We're not stubborn enough to keep it just because we like it type thing, or because we put a bunch of work into it or something. But we have no plans to change it and are incredibly happy with it. Having said that, I would say the crafting system overall as a whole has tons of room for improvement, and we are definitely looking at ways we can make it better. We have specific things that are coming in 1.2. There's specific things that are probably going to happen in the next batch after that, and the next batch after that. Crafting is one of those things that it's a pretty important part of the system as a whole, and people really like using it, and we want it to be as good as possible. So having room for improvement and room for changes there is something that we really, really think is important. I guess the reason why I'm waffling on this question is because change it drastically, I don't know what the where's the line on that sit, because I think like in 1.2 we're removing one of the crafting materials. We're removing one of the things from this list. One of these runes or glyphs is going away, and there's 2 new ones being added. And then we're also adding in other ways to affect crafting. We're adding in other systems for like supplementary crafting. It kind of depends on where you fall on is putting an exalted item, is creating a legendary item, is that crafting or not? I think it is. I've been in debates where people have been very clear that it wasn't. So it's like, if that counts, then there's even more crafting changes we're making as well, not specifically around legendary potential and legendary crafting. There is, but other things as well. Yes, we're changing a lot of stuff with the crafting, and I'm being super vague about it, and I'm sorry. But yeah, like there's crafting changes coming, but the core heart of the crafting system is not something that we have any plans to adjust majorly, because we love it.
Did you hear it? Big updates coming. Teaser 1.
Here's a little. It's not specifically what you asked for, but it's a teaser. That's all I got. Here we are. Here's a new 2D art for something. If you have a question for me while this is sitting up there, I'll answer another one, but please put @LastEpochGame in the question if you'd like me to answer it. New Falcon class.
What is that?
It's New Falcon. It's not a New Falcon class. I would urge, if you're looking to try and guess what it is, I would urge you to look at the style that the art is in and look at other places in the game that style of art exists. Bird up.
I feel required to add this question to dev chat because of my favorite build, Golemancer.
Currently, minions seem to want to idle on your character, and they form rings around you. Have you considered having, say, melee minions want to idle like half a screen in front of your character?
Please.
Behind? Would be cool if melee minions always tried to stay in front of you until you encounter enemies. Yeah, it is a really we have tried something like this before. It did not go well. It resulted in enemies actually spending less time, especially melee minions, spending a lot less time in combat. Which was problematic, so we didn't put it in the game. It accomplished the exact opposite of what it was trying to do. And I don't know the way to fix it to make it actually work properly. But basically, the tricky part is what is in front, like the direction you're physically facing. All right, warpath, which direction is in front? You know, like it's very difficult to tell which direction is like having them actually be smart enough to do this properly. Sometimes giving them enough intelligence to try and do this well, but having them be really bad at it actually causes more problems. So it is something that we are trying to do to make them and minions engage in combat more smoothly, and like if you're having situations where there's problems and specific minions that you want to behave differently, giving you ways to spec into them to maybe get more move speed and things like that for melee minions to like be able to get into combat faster and things like that is something we are looking at. And yeah, this comes back to what I was talking about earlier with the enemy AIs and like their engage ranges and their pursuit ranges and things like that. Having those be that all of that applies to minions as well. It's all exactly the same.
Okay, this is my solution, and I'm only going to talk about Necromancer. The passive tree for Necromancer is literally 6 years old. I don't think it's been changed since I've been playing the game. It is also one of the few passive trees that still does not have threshold nodes, which means you put 4 points into this node and you get like a small boost. It is a huge downgrade to Necro that it still has the old passive tree. But to Mike's point, what you could do is maybe you put a bunch of threshold nodes that boost movement speed or range or something along those lines to try and help support melee minions. Teaser 2.
Let's take a little break and look at another teaser. Why not, right? Why not? Actually, gonna shove this one in the corner when I'm done with it here.
What's that? Quiver?
Like that. This one might actually be guessable what it is. This is kind of already in the game, but it's not. It's not in the game, but like similar things are. Nice scabbard. What? It's not a scabbard. Kind of a scabbard, but it's not a scabbard. A shield quiver. We already have one of those called Arrow Guard.
All right, everybody, we have come to the final question for Dev Chat 160. Mike, as always, thank you for your Friday live streams. The community truly appreciates it. To anybody out there not in my Discord, we're almost 4,500 members strong. We currently have a game giveaway for a free copy of Last Epoch. If you are a part of my Discord, we do a game giveaway every 2 weeks just for being a member of the community. We're also kind of the unofficial voice chat for Last Epoch. So if you love this game and you want to connect with other gamers, we have people literally in voice chat every single day playing LE. So I'm done. I'm going to edit this video and then go get back in bed. Mike is going to take us away with talking about scary encounters. The Butcher?
Is your design philosophy having scary encounters? Think like Grim Dawn's Nemesis system or Butcher from D2. Oh, the Butcher. Fresh meat. Like, give myself chills with that one. You have the Exiled Mage and Nemesis encounters, but those you still choose whether you want to fight them or not, and know they're coming. And they're not particularly scary to fight either. Yeah, it is a tricky one. I think they're very memorable, and I love that. And I think they go really well in the campaign. And the Nemesis and Exiled Mage systems were specifically designed to be to be things that were that extended into the end game and just like it always existed. So I don't think they would generally work as well from a design standpoint, but like I absolutely love it. And like I don't know, yeah, I'm thinking Butcher from Diablo 1, I think. And just like walking into that room and it's just I can feel it. I can feel that feeling still, and it's wonderful. And getting those memories, those memorable feelings into your game is one of the hardest things to do, and magical when it happens. Okay, what are you planning to do? Any other things to do an endgame other than monoliths? Some of the type of grind, not just one to change things up a bit, but give some options when monolith becomes too much of the same. It's the main reason why I stopped playing after a while. I think so. Technically, the answer to this question is no right now for season 2, but spiritually the answer to the question is yes. I think the monolith system in general is a really good and strong framework for a variety of activities to do in endgame, and right now there's kind of only 2 that exist in like the standard monolith ecosystem right now. And I think we're really targeting that's like one of the primary places we're targeting for monolith endgame. The issue we're targeting is exactly what you're bringing up, is injecting more activities to do in the endgame. So instead of basically just like a normal echo and an arena echo, we want to have a whole bunch of different types to do there and be able to customize which ones you want to engage with more. Yes. If you cut out other than monoliths of the first sentence in the question, yes is the answer.